Okay.
All right. So I'll let you go ahead and share and keep things moving.
Well, that doesn't look good.
What's the matter?
The whole thing disappeared here.
Oh, I see it just fine.
Okay, well, all I'm seeing is like a strip. Let me see if I can do something here.
Double click the title bar of the window. If you're seeing it, it should expand it to full size.
Weird. Okay, well, I guess I can ignore it unless I need to do something.
What are you, do you not see it at all?
Well, I just see like the strip that says mute, start video, participants 2, chat, new share, please share. I guess that's all I need to see.
Can you see your screen, your Carlson screen?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there we go. I see that. So now
And you see my Carlson screen.
yes.
Okay, let me ask you this. How do I get this template and stuff into the my typical drawing that we set up the last time, my template?
What is it that you're wanting to put in there?
Well, you set up this.
Okay, for those styles and such,
Yes.
that would be, you don't really put that in your template. You would do that here when you go to your annotate defaults.
Okay, so I have to do it every time for every drawing?
No, it'll stay until you change it, but what you want to do is save this. And you can call that, now see, it's in your settings folder. And let's just call that Wilcoxon plat. And you see, you've also got a couple of others that we've saved before. There was Anno default, global, Jeffco, auto Anno, line table, auto defaults, Wilcoxon. So all of that stuff has been saved.
Okay.
Now, still, a little bit perplexed. I want to be able to set up the table. I don't want to have to go back and do all that table stuff to change.
What do you mean do all the table stuff?
Well, remember we generated the tables and I had to change the fonts and all that.
Yeah.
So I
I'm
don't.
not sure I understand.
Oh, shush. So I don't want to have to keep doing that to make it match. I want to preset that, and I don't know exactly. Is it because? Well, it might be because, let me see.
Yeah, if we can't do that, then we ought to do it the other way. Change the well, I don't use tables that often, actually.
Well, it could be that it takes on whatever is the current style. So let's say if I take let's use this one. called title main. And I'll make it my current text style. And let's just give this a whirl. Let's see. So if we let's auto annotate this little guy over here and say use line tables, that's fine. Starting table number, let's call it 101.
What little guy are you talking about?
I'll show you this little down here in the corner. I just want to do a test. So if I do that, let's say okay. No, it didn't. Let's see what access easement. So what is this? That's on lab text. A label text.
Are you right clicking to get that edit in place command?
Yes, sir. And that is style code D tables. Okay. We set that up. Arial narrow, that's right. I remember we did that yesterday evening. Now, take this. I'm just going to copy it over here so we can see. So see that generated again on label text, and it picked up from or actually it added it onto that existing table. Okay.
It's a good thing, right?
Yeah, because it was already in there. Now, let's see, that'll finish that.
You might want to change that layer. I have it on a layer called access easement. I don't know that that's.
Well, that's just with nothing selected, that just says that's what your current layer is.
Okay.
And that's why when it had line type, it was set to hidden. So that's why when it generated the table again, it made it out of that hidden line type. That's why I fixed that part. All right, now. Here's, I think, line and curve table defaults. There we go. Aha, there we go. So the label text layer. We're on NO boundary. And the label text layer, the table text layer. This would be on NO boundary. Let's call it grid so we know what we're talking about. And then the style, we're going to use that deed tables. Prefix of an L, prefix of a C. There's a table. Text size scalar was 08. All right, so we're going to save this as Wilcoxon line table settings. Boundary 0.08, okay. Table defaults, table header, type of table, line, starting point or point number of the table. I guess it's that. So if we undo see now here, yeah, here we go. We can edit the table properties. that the values are. So able to table properties. That's this. Let's use the general table editor. There we go. See, that's where I was remembering and I couldn't figure out how to get back to it. So these are going to be the titles across the top: line, bearing, and distance. That makes sense about what they are supposed to be. So a line down here is your header scale. Let's make these 0.1. And we'll make the style deed tables. And the alignment will be centered. And the title, if we make that 0.125, and let's make that deed calls, and make that left. Grid lines. The table layer. So we're going to do a background for the title. And the layer will go on NO line table, let's call it. Titles on the left. Okay, so the header is all centered. That's 6.2. We can actually make that probably a little less. Let's call it 5. Centered. Let's bring that down to 10. See if that'll do for us. And that's going to also be centered. And also this deed tables. And then the distance will make, let's say 9.5. And it will be right justified. And again, deed calls, or deed table rather. And then the title will be line table. I guess we should call it property line cable. So we'll have a title with a background color, this and the other. Okay, sort the column 9 minutes. So it's header scale. The header is line bearing and distance. Be a little taller. Okay, so let's, I think that'll work.
That said lean table rather than line table.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Uh, Say that and okay, so let's go back to those settings again. Property
Can we
line.
change that to boundary line table?
Yep, we can do that. And instead of the title being quite so big, let's change that to the, make it the same. Grid, there's the title. That the other NO line table to another. Table color. Let's go ahead and make that. Then we'll save that again. Okay.
Should boundary line table be centered?
Well, I was looking to see if we need to make a little. We could, I was thinking like, you know, if like at this table here for the curve table. And just that
Yeah.
word, you know, just sort of be like a tab on a file folder set over
Okay.
here to the left is all. But because this is so short, it's probably better to tone it down. And I think I'm gonna keep these. Like that. And let's see. But we make the bearing a little bit wider. Let's see if we've also got. I'll give us enough of that. All right, so we'll make the bearing column a little bit wider. Let's make it say 12. Distance. Like 8. And yeah, it probably would be okay. Now let's do Same for this. Radius. Let's choose. We'll change the title of that. I wanted to change it to just length. All right, we'll leave this like it is. And let's see what we can get rid of here. We're going to put boundary curve table. And I think those are good. Cut down the curve number just a wee bit. It's kind of 6.5. In fact, if I do the common stuff, there we go. That's where I can change. This is okay. And the length.
Can we identify that as the arc length?
39. Well, we could. I was just trying to get. I mean, you know, the title was. I was trying to shorten the title so it's not quite so big. But if you want, we can. That's why we. So now we need to put this back here too. Then. All right, so now 9. Guess we better make these 10.
How is this different than the other tables that we've set up before when we've done tables?
Which tables? What kind are we talking about? The property tables?
Line and arc tables.
Well, if
One of
we've
the
done,
drawings that we've done.
yeah, if we've done line and arc tables, we've probably just taken the defaults and lived with them. All right, so let's see now the header scale, the style. The header will all be centered. Idle left, all right, so we say save. All right, we're gonna call that. Now, let's see if we can get these to match. Now what we've got to do is this guy centered. I edit them all with it. There we go. Center the radius. Right. Length. Right. Length is right. Bearing is centered. Angle is centered. Okay. So that lines up. All right, so we need to shorten up radius and arc length and chord length. Actually, center right, so that would be 6.5. See if that gives us enough. Arc length, that should be 8. Yeah, see, chord bearing itself is, oh, I wanted to. I can shorten that up here a little bit. That's it. Almost, why didn't it? Yeah. Yeah, you see, they update here. Header alignments all centered. There's some reason, don't know why, that it's,
Okay, well, maybe we should just live with it the way it is.
well, I guess so. Could do. Things like. Off that edge a little bit and we'll see. Yeah.
Again, we've spent hours on these curve tables. I just can't understand why.
Well, just
I'm gonna have more money in the curve table, so I'm gonna get for the whole job.
I won't charge you for today and yesterday. I'm just wanting to get that so help the presentation a little bit, that's all. All right. So now we go back to here, you see we can make this a little bit taller, but not as wide, and then we can move it off to the side a little bit more. All right. So let me put this here. Okay. All righty, so where to next? See, did I? I didn't mute you, did I?
What?
Oh, I thought maybe I had hit the mute button. It's a the key on my keyboard, it's awfully easy to hit accidentally, so, okay. So what to next to figure out?
Well, I guess I just need to finish dimensioning the plat.
Yeah, and if you want to look at those big arrows as a way of,
Yeah,
And-
something needs to be done with those.
yeah. So,
If nothing else, they need to be moved so that they're not in the way of the bearings and distances. Unless there's a different way to do that, but I don't know.
well,
I
I
guess
mean, you could do something like just have a single symbol that's, you know, instead of them all being all different sizes and orientations and such like that. I mean, they'll have to be different orientations, but if you had something that looked like just say, it's on access easement, so we'll put that on. Merger. So we had something that looks sort of like, I'm just gonna do a. Something like this, and then. Let's undo that. Space.
you're in, I think you just went into model space. I don't know if you meant.
I meant to, because I wanted to.
Okay.
I had to change the space on her, so now my size is gonna be. What is that? Let's just go 2. Oh, come on. Um, Why is that not locked? What's going on? It says it's locked.
Something's happened for sure. Everything's changed.
Now. That viewport says is locked. That one also says is locked. Now, you see when I'm in there, now it's behaving like it's locked. But obviously it's reset itself. Now, let me see. Dig-a-dim. I think the easiest here, Mike, and that's why we've saved those styles. Let's bring this back in. I have no idea why that would have. Screwed that up. Okay, cancel that, exit. No, that's very interesting. It saved those anyway. All right.
Is it worthwhile to try to make the joiner table and the area table look the same as the line table, or is that a lot of trouble?
We can maybe do that. Let me see here.
Let's keep working on the arrow first.
Yeah, let me I wanted to erase outside. There's something out here that's causing that. So now, okay. You're talking about these
Yeah,
tutorials here to look, so they look sort of like that. We can get those to change. We'll just have to compare the Excel styles. That's one of the reasons I changed to this font, was to try to match, because that's using that same font there, but it's from Excel.
well, I don't think it's Arial narrow. It might be, but I don't think it is.
This one is, but this one is not.
Okay,
Yeah, because I looked at that when I loaded that up. The problem is Arial narrow, once AutoCAD or IntelliCAD gets a hold of it, it treats it differently than the way Excel handles fonts. It's just, you know, it's visually, it would look as close as they're going to make it, but it's still a CAD treatment of a font. Now,
okay, well, that's good enough. We don't need to worry about it.
all righty, so let's change now to, I'm going to switch to, where was I? Merger. Oh wait, that's frozen anyway, isn't it? It's on access easements.
I don't know how I got on access even.
I don't know. Let's make a. We have an NO. There's NO boundary. And we'll change.
One of the arrows disappeared.
I think it's still there, but maybe in paper space is what I'm guessing.
Oh, yeah, probably.
NO boundary. So if I look back over here, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, see that's down there. Let me make sure. Yep, that's in paper space. So if I change space, select entity to move. There's that one. Set the target viewport active and hit enter. There we go. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. All right, so now we'll do that same thing down here. We'll now, and we're on there. If we did a thing like this. So it's just a merger. I thought merger was frozen. All right. Oh, I know what that was. Never mind. All right, so let's actually do put this on merger. Makes better sense. Merger. And so it goes from here to here. And then I want to do and I want to rotate. Then I'll mirror. Okay. And Let's do. Look there. Change the boundary. Now we're going to turn that into a block. And we're going to call that merger arrow. And or try to give it a base point. That we select these and we want to make it that's all we need. All right, so now we're going to also write that out to your location. And we will also, we can put that in your template so that it's always included. Now, so you've got this one comes to here, this one comes to here, this one comes to here. So how you would do those is you would then go to, you're going to draw a block. Let me see if I did it. Yeah, see, that's gonna be, yeah. I'm gonna put it in point library because that's gonna get the scale and all screwed up. So now, if we draw, if we insert a block, so it's on the draw menu down toward the bottom, and you can either be from a file if you're new that doesn't have this in here, or choose this merger arrow. We want to insert the insertion point. We will specify on the screen. The scale we'll leave alone for now. We can change it later. And the rotation we're also going to specify on the screen. And so we're going to say, all right, so we're going to put this, say, here, and then put it like that. And let's get rid of this one.
Yeah, that's much better.
And then we'll do another one here to here and here to here. So if we just do the same deal, we'll put that one, say, here. And we can do that. And then this one now, unfortunately, we've got the floodplains also sort of underneath it, but we'll take care of that in a second. I think you'll see anyway that so that's going to go here. And then we'll just move it sort of like that, maybe rotate it again. Rotate that, say from all right, so far so good for those three. And now this one gets merged into there. So then we'll put it here. And I want to sort of make it parallel to that line there, and then I'm going to move it. Put the there. All right, so just trying to think if I want to put these under the property lines, but not all the way in the back. So I'm going to draw order under. So that keeps it above this, but below the property line.
Yeah,
And then you can just, tweak them around however you see fit. Like if you want to get those off of the line pattern anyway. So now I'll see what that looks like back here. All right, so maybe they are okay. Maybe at that point, maybe you'll put it there and then change that. Change that point description and move it around. So, just however you need best to do that.
okay,
And you can also, Michael, if you find out that you need to say, let's go back to that because this is really what we're judging our viewability with. let's say we decided those are just too big. Well, you can select, choose one, right click, select similar. And if you look over here, see their scale value is set to 1. So you
Yeah.
could, those all be like, say 0.5. And then if you reposition it, individually.
Yeah, I think they actually look better at 0.5.
Yeah, it's not taking up so much. Screen real estate, nor is, they're also not those are pretty ginormous big black arrows that we'd had before. So I think this will be
That's a huge
Well,
improvement.
a little clever. Now, don't forget though, to put that in your legend as a symbol.
Okay.
Did we have one over here? Yeah, so you would,
Well, actually, I have, if you look in the, let me show you something here real quick.
okay, yep,
And in my Carlson file in each
Yeah,
job.
you told me you had like a master legend, so.
Um, where is it? I don't remember what the legend.
You're in the Wilcoxon folder now, so there's
Yeah, no, I put it in, I thought I put it in every job. Let me look here under. Huh. Let me look up here one more.
not in your CAD resources, is it?
I don't think so.
There it is, legend.lgd.
Yeah,
Yeah, so that's the definition for the legend table. So if you go to then when you go to your annotation table, you could bring that.
okay, let me try that.
Yeah, go back to model space maybe. Because it's trying to read from the annotation. So come back there. There you go. Now do your annotate legend. Yep. And now you're going to find that file that you just looked for. So that's why yeah, you could, no, don't put new because it will write over top of it. You want existing because you're going to now find it. So you got to navigate to it now. So now go back and find that again where you were, which was on your templates and then in your Carlson. There it is. Say that. And now put it somewhere off to the side if you want, or first of all, actually, we're going to need to add, and you want a symbol name you want to select. So it's looking for it as a point symbol. I'm not sure it's going to work like that, but we'll try it. Go ahead and choose that and see if, no, okay, cancel that. It's not. Cancel that whole box there. I want to add from
Right.
there it is. That's what it was. Yeah. Okay, so choose now that. Okay, that's it.
And enter
Enter.
and draw.
Yeah, see at the top where it says merger arrow,
Yes.
select that and then choose in the description, so you want to edit that. So you either hit the edit button or double click it. So now in the yeah, right there in the description, you type whatever it is you want it to read in the
On, in the,
whatever line it's going to type in the legend is what you want this to say.
okay, should it be all caps or,
What are the others? Are they? I think they are.
good question, I don't know.
Well, let's see. Yeah, they look like they
Looks
are.
like
Yeah.
they're all caps, okay. Well, merger arrow is, probably as good as anything.
Well, I mean, what would we, if we were a reader or an approver that was looking at this map, what would we expect to see? Like, I wonder what that area is. Oh, and is that a, what would you call that? Not property into other property, but, oh, I don't know. Well, merger arrow might be the simplest, the simplest way.
Well, I think anybody will understand what merger arrow means,
Yeah,
right?
I think so. You cap.
Oops.
There you go. And now let's say, okay, and let's see if this will work.
Then hit draw.
Well, first save it and then. Okay, now hit the draw. And also you see some of those, like if you don't have them, you can double click them now and turn them on or off, or just, you can single click and control click on ones you don't want to show up. See, they're all set to yes in this column over here on the right.
Okay, I
So,
see.
say if
Okay,
you
so the power, I don't have any power poles. I don't have any, so I would double click on them.
Yeah, so let's say if you just did that, and then you could just come here and say off. And you would do, now I'm gonna say, let's,
I don't have any, okay, I don't have any manholes. I don't have any,
all right, so yeah, I'm gonna let you go ahead and find it now. So click once on the ones that you do not have. And now hold the control key down and click the next one you don't have. Well, click that one. Now hold the control key and click each one that you do not have.
and off.
Correct. Okay, and then draw. And that's probably fine for now. So go ahead and click OK and go out and find a spot.
There.
Well, I would,
Left.
yeah, I mean, don't put it so, yeah, put it like that so that it's out of the way of the one viewport. Wow, okay, that's fine. For now, let's go ahead and exit that. And now select that item there. And you see the scale says 20.
Yeah,
Change that 20 to 0.5 to match. Now let's go over there and see what we've got in our legend. All right, so we've got it showing up. Looks like your driveway is pretty good size.
yeah, it's probably too big.
Yeah, and
What
Well-
size should it be?
well, if you do, yeah, you could change that if you'd like, make it like just one. All right, so that's actually,
Change.
well, that's okay because it's a hatch. So if we've got this, if you've got this hatch, let me see. Let's select this. Yeah, so if I just select that and I'm gonna just hold the shift key down, I'm just gonna visually do this.
Okay,
And I'll bring that down to, looks like it's all centered around the word there. And then I'll grab these to match. Just bring this up. I don't think it's going to snap to the hatch. No. So here's what I should have moved this one first. So if I move that one up, say like to there. And this one sort of to there. Now select the hatch. Now this will let you go.
are you right clicking to get those snaps?
Shift right click. That's the same as if you go up here and get them from this bar.
Okay,
Okay, so that was that. Now this is a separate polyline. I don't know exactly why you have two, but I'll leave it in there just in case it does something for what you got. So now, all right, so there's that. Then I would take these and I would just move them and get them, don't want to get too close to the fence.
do I need to move the merger error up a little bit,
Well, I would do it like this.
move those down?
Yeah. So see, you're gonna always have a couple of little tweaks like that, and then maybe I would see how boundary and fence are sort of close together,
Yeah.
or just, that's a little better. Yeah.
And which key, you push shift or control to move them orthogonally?
To lock the orthogonal is
Yeah.
as you start to move, hold the shift key down
Okay,
and keep it held until you're finished. Now, one thing to, be aware of too on this is you've got this hatch showing his driveway, and you've got that driveway here, maybe, if that's what that is.
yes,
Um, don't confuse the reader with, like, we haven't added this flood.
floodplain.
And you can do that. And I would do it like this. I would just copy this. And let's go from the insert, if I can. There it is, the insert of this to the insert of this. So we need to move it still. And then I would take that polyline. I don't need that extra polyline. There's one polyline there, so don't need that one. I think I would take these end caps off. So that'll show up sort of black over top of the heavy, and I'm gonna put these,
And then change the driveway to floodplain?
yeah. So I'll send this to the back, and I'm gonna also match a couple things. So I want to match this one. That's the driveway, right?
Yes,
So that hatch matches that. And I want to match that to that and that. And then I want to match that to that. And then finally, I want to match that to that and to that. Okay, now this is, let me see how big this is. That's 3/10 of an inch. That's huge on your paper space. So let's put that down to, what do we have? Those others were like that. Let's make that say 0.125. And then these, oh, we also need to, what did you call it? Is it just floodway?
floodplain.
Floodplain, one word or two?
I think it's 2.
Okay. Now then these we're gonna make their 10th. That's probably fine with that.
I probably need to make that 100-year floodplain.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Let's turn these into now I'm just gonna that let's try that. And that will need to probably be a little extra space here. And let's see what that will do. It's a little too much, maybe. Let's see. Oh, I see. Merger arrow boundary fence. There we go.
Need a space between merger and arrow, I think.
There's a space. It's already there. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So that will work. Now, now what you're going to do is see, this is all one piece of text. If you wanted as you know,
Yeah.
Like you can't just drag these two and bring them down. So the best thing to do is get that space to where they're going to fit, and then slide these things up and down to match, how they're going to fit over there.
Right.
In fact, I would take those items and I'm going to bring them up, sort of line them up with the left edge of that merger arrow. Okay.
Okay.
So now that that's done, you would go to here, and then wherever you want that legend to be, You would put another viewport. Well, let's first of all get on that viewports layer.
Yeah, I always forget to do that. Always forget.
Yeah. And so then we're gonna do and let's just create it like so. And we'll just sit it sort of lined up here about where we know we'll need to be. Come back out and let's set that to be 200 as our standard scale. Then we'll make this big enough to show everything. And then you can expand that later if you add any more things to it if you have to.
Okay.
All right, so now once you get it positioned where you're going to do it, you come back and lock it.
Oh, my sneeze reminded me. Did I tell you that Chuck Sager has really bad COVID?
No.
Yeah.
Wow. Well,
Oh, I went to Gaucho's funeral yesterday, and much to my embarrassment, I was the only surveyor there.
oh, that's too bad.
In fact, the only other male there was a local attorney. Everybody else were school teacher friends of his wife.
Yeah, well,
Of course, it was in the middle of the week, in the middle of a day. So,
yeah.
but even so,
Now, let's see. Yeah, so now your little dash lines show up on your floodplain. And there's that. Well, I hope he recovers.
well, he plans to be back to work on Monday. He said he got it last Sunday. So has had it not quite for a week. I told him I thought he was being a bit optimistic when when he was going to get to work.
Yeah. Well,
Oh, that's a question. Where I have the driveway and proposed easement, how do I get an arrow on the end of those lines?
well,
The
probably
leaders.
if you did those, because I see there are two different types of text and two different weights. But if you did those with leaders, probably what you would have to do is what is that?
Let me go ahead and match those texts too.
Yeah. Let me go back to here and I want to I'm going to turn these off or hide these for just now. That'll make it easier now. All right, so those were in paper space. Did you want that to go all the way out to
No.
here?
Well, sure. Yeah, but I'm just trying to show what it does encroach.
Okay, so yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you ever need to do something like that, you can edit a hatch just like you do a polyline. Since
Probably
sometimes
need to do on there too.
yeah, so sometimes it's okay. It's okay to it's easy enough to do, but other times it can give you bugaboos, so you might find it easier just to start over. Where is that intersection? Should be. Oh, okay. It's because the point's up at an elevation. That's not, so it's not really an intersection. So I'm just gonna put it right there. Ah. Now I see you've got a pattern on that instead of it being a solid, which is okay. But you could change the scale of it if that makes it easier to differentiate between the other one.
I can make it a solid. I don't know why I did that. That's probably an accident rather than intention.
Yeah, so just make sure that if you do that you it's a slightly different shade than the other one. You want to get those upper colors, so then now that'll do that. Let's bring this and this, but not this. Let's bring put that under, draw order under that. And that. All right, there we go. Now let's go back to this. And if you match, now this particular piece of text, let me get out of the model space. All right, if you want those in the model space.
Should they be? Should I be doing all of my labeling in model space?
Well, we had a little bit of that discussion yesterday about how if it's something that depends on placement in relationship to things in the geometry of the drawing, then a lot of times it is, but it's, it just depends, Mike. It's hard to say. Some people make it a hard and fast rule that they only ever label in paper space, and the only thing they put in model space is the drawn geometry. But sometimes when you're working, you have to see the labels to know what it is that you're working with. So I don't know if.
So there's no hard and fast rule.
No, not really. The one advantage to putting annotation in paper space is that you can go over the edges of viewports. You're not going to cut your text off. You can span across the edges of those things. So, but anyway, let's put these on. Let's see what layer we've got. This is on access easement, so that's probably good. That's still access easement, and that's on driveway, and that's on driveway. So access easement and driveway need to have the same properties. So we'll find them. Access easement and scroll down here and find driveway. So I'll control click. One's red, one's white. That won't matter for us, but we've got a default line weight. That's okay for that one. Okay, it says they're default, so that part's okay. So we didn't need to make any changes after all. So these apparently are set individually. Now that's a line, and that is a leader. Okay. Line weight is by layer, but its line type is hidden. Let's make it also by layer. And that is set to 0.3. So let's make that by layer. All right, so those are going to match. Now, this piece of text is in a style called highway,
Yeah,
and this one is in a style called highway, but with some, it's using Arial as a font. Now, this is probably using Roman simplex, okay, and they're both sort of, and that one with Roman simplex is a different line weight. So I'm going to set everything to by layer, so that'll clean that up. But this is instead of highway, and you see this 0.75,
yeah,
that's the width factor. That's what's jammed those letters up close together. So I would say if we selected these, and let's take the style. Let's reset it. To standard. Okay, so that made that much nicer. And let's see if we can match that. I don't know that it will pull the spacing across in the match. No, it didn't. So if we double click this and look at it, we see it's using standard. The font is Arial. The standard is the name of the style. It has a height of 0.05 and it's got a 1, it's a factor of 1 for the spacing, the horizontal, what they call tracking.
okay,
So that's all well and good. So let's do the same thing for this. And I think the only thing we're going to have to change is just make that 1. Yeah, so make that a 1. And what happened? I didn't have it selected when I changed that. There we go. And then I would probably consider and something like that, and the upper left, set our line spacing to that's a little too little. About 0.75. All right, that's a little better. So then, all right, so it looks like these are change that.
I was trying to make that proposed easement line a dashed or a dotted line, and I couldn't ever do it. I tried several different line types, but I couldn't get it to.
Yeah, so right now it's on dashed X2, which would work. But dashed 2 is smaller than dashed X2. Or it's dash 2 is half the size of dashed. But
Okay.
then you're going to change that, you need to change the line type scale sometimes. And so, but I would think even dashed, there's a tighter, if you do a hidden 2, something like that,
Yeah, that looks good.
and then we'll let's come back out of that and do this. Change that to a E, and there we go. All right, so we've got a couple labels, and what we need to do next. I think I want to change. These driveway weights. So they're not the same weight as the property line.
Right.
I think that makes that a little clearer. And so now we've got, well, one of these I think is, that's just a line. This one is a leader, so it's probably
Where do you see that it's a leader? Where are you?
up here in the tippy top
Oh, okay, well, it's
there.
funny because the other one I drew as a leader too, or tried to. I think. Or
Yeah,
maybe
and it depends because Carlson had all those helper commands where they said, I'm going to draw you this as a leader, but they're not necessarily using a CAD command to do it. And sometimes they revert to building it on the fly out of points.
so you
Or,
get the arrow to show up by stretching it.
yeah, so what I did here was when you see how that arrowhead goes away?
Yeah.
That's because that's a leader. So if you look at the properties of that, and that comes out of whatever was set as your current leader style. But see, that has an arrow size of 0.0004. It's got a text offset. So when you're building a note, it can have all this stuff done. And here's your 200 scale because it knows you're working on that 200 scale viewport. So, you could do something like that. But now even this, for instance, there's one of these items down here is probably a minimum in the style definition, there is a minimum type of a minimum size. That's what suppresses the arrowhead. So one thing that we might want to do instead of, let's see, that was an arrow. See, we could also make a dimension style. Instead of using an arrow, it puts like a circular, like a ball on the end. So it points into that area. And we look at those things as dimension styles. And let's just add one. And we'll call it area all out. And we'll add, well, we'll copy that in a minute. So I'm going to edit this, and it's going to be, instead of an arrow, I'm going to use a dot. Small. Like that. And text here, left to right, horizontal. 108's fine. Text placement. Middle of the dimension, let's say above the dimension. Horizontal, center 2 is also above. All right, that's fine. Orientation when outside, orientation when inside is aligned. And Those, right, so. I want the. Oh, leader, that's what I want is. Dot small. This one I want as arrow. So, there we go. So when it is a leader, should be a dot. What's arrow filled? Small. See, that should, I don't see it in the preview, but oh well. So now on the text, it'll be standard, that height, view direction, horizontal, orientation, draw frame, around. All right, I want to set that landing zone. I don't see it either text or text, function, draw dimensions. Assign. It's annotative, we'll make it. Okay. Look, so still don't see the landing zone. All right, well, so there's this one called area call out. Now, if let's set that one current. And let's change this to be that style. Area call out. And if I just draw a multi-leader, multi-leader, set the see, I want the So, dimension styles. My multi-leader styles, ML styles. Do you have that on the other screen?
No.
Don't express tools. That's interesting. Multi-line styles manager. All right. I should see a dialog box somewhere. I don't see it.
I don't either.
Well, all right. Leader, a multi-leader. Leader, landing first, content first, O for options. So let's go for options and let's do a landing. Use a landing, yes. Fixed landing distance, that'll be fine. And first angle, maximum point, second exit options. Still didn't give me a chance to. Now, if I change this to a multi-leader, all right, so we're getting there. And this text needs to be what was this? 0.05. The landing distance. That's landing gap. That's what I was looking for. Okay. So now we're going to put that on this layer, which is driveway. So we're going to say actually, let's put it on access easements. And we're going to make 2 of these, so we'll copy that one. And we're gonna make one say proposed easement. Spell easement correctly. The other one's gonna say. Driveway. And let's see, this one we need to. Since I made it 2 lines, I can take the abbreviation out, so. Oh. Now let's go back to this line spacing and set that to 0.85, did we call it, or was it 6.5? Must have been 8.5. Yeah, now let's get rid of these 2 things. And here's why I like using these easements or using these types of things, is because you can point to something. Hang on a second. Move from there. Let's turn the snaps off. So you can position it, where it is there, but then if you want to move this, see how it does, it carries that, it keeps that point anchored. Now you move the anchor point if you want it to point to a different spot, or you can move the text and it will hold the anchor where it is. So there we go. So I'm going to put that one, say, right in there. And then I'm going to move the text. And I'm going to try to match, whoops, I need that to be a little. Be just a little bit longer to get the dot to show up. And then if I just move the whole thing, you see it moves wherever it needs to. There's a setting on the arrow part that is or under fit or something. And of course you can make the dot bigger if you wanted.
No, I think they're good.
Whoops. 0.08. There we go. Same as that. But what I'd like to see, what I want to do is I want to get this up here, but I don't want the dot to go away. And there's a setting for that somewhere. Get rid of this while we're here. Landing distance. X width, height. Rotation. Landing gap, the line space. That's for the text. The leaders are straight. Color dot small. Well, I don't know. Know where it is. Let's see. So I'm just going to stretch it out to where it's there's where I can pick it up to see it. And then I'm going to take this guy and just visually to sort of match the same angle and length if I can. Not necessary, but sometimes it helps to clarify, keep things squared away. Now, keep in mind, those two things are still in paper space, so move them if you need or if you prefer.
Okay.
And when you do that, see, the nice thing about it in model splits as well, and if you keep these as annotative objects, see where it says annotative?
Yeah,
They'll rescale, they'll grow and shrink with the size of the viewport, but
okay.
you know, anything will. All right, so that's got that cleared up. Now, this darn thing. Display locks, yes. The, All right, so everything is there. All right, so that's back, all right. It's good, okay, now let's turn back on that. Then that's a matter of you, I guess,
Annotating.
yeah, annotating and rearranging, you know, just move and change and stretch and shrink but don't,
Yeah.
you know, don't make 35 different styles. You want to keep, you know, make some difference so that they stand out, but you know, keep it as consistent as you can across the board.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So, if you wanted this, we can I want to look at a couple of things here. If I look at the cell format. Right, that is Arial narrow, but it's bold. And the fill is whatever that color is 217, 217, 217, or that. Let's just say RGB. I'll put these down as RGB. 217. So that one is the top line. This one is two 31, 230, 230, 231. Okay, now. And so this is the one we will set to be the aerial narrow and bold. And the fill to be two 17, 17, 17. And then these are these. Okay. All right, so these.
Oh, I see, I'm not consistent there. I need a space after that, M in the second column.
Oh, okay. And what about the P13 and the P2.3?
Yeah,
Oops, wrong spot. And there. All right, so then these will be two 31. Two 30. 230. And the font for all of the rest of those will be no format cells. Font. Narrow. Regular. And then this shall be Arial narrow, bold. Now. Now you see how there are, all the grid lines are showing up. You could do those, or you could, we could, based on however the Excel table is, we could change, where you just had a line down here above these numbers. I'm not suggesting we take the time to go do that. I think that's matching now as close as this one is. Except I didn't get the height of these fonts. So this font is 14, 12, and 11. So then we need to make the, oops. $14. $12. Then 11. Okay. So. And we could set, you want to match the width of the total of the tables?
Wouldn't hurt.
All right, so let's take this one down, and we may have to do a couple of. We may have to do a couple of trial runs here, but we'll see. Oh, look at that.
Pretty close.
And I don't think I can do a stretch on this. Yeah, if I do, it's going to resize the text. So it's going to scale it. So let's see if we can't just, I need to open this up more here anyway. So district map and parcels, I need to. I see what we did. There, I was paying attention to the words in here and not the title. Bad, I can open that up. Not like that, I think. Scooch it back just a skosh. Well, I'm afraid to try to get it any better.
Oh, that's pretty good.
And then let's move. And we'll sort of bring it up here, get it off that title block. And then that's sort of. Take one more peek. I think that's got a heavier line. No. What's going on?
That came from I didn't draw those lines. That came from the border command on the.
Yeah. I'm having a hard time selecting those. Let me say something a second. There we go. Now we can do it. So I want to see what this table line weight is for the border. And it's that one. Colors automatic outline. So it's that size, that, whoops. Outline. I guess it's okay. So you probably, the other one probably has this smaller weight.
Probably.
Yeah, so. We'll take this to this. Order, yeah, that's a smaller weight. That's better. Feeling better about it all along. All right. Still think something I might want to do is this. Let me know what you think about this. Say none for the. So you see them sort of grayish there, but that's.
Yeah, I don't think I like it.
Well, they won't be grayish is the thing. They'll just be white. I would turn that off. Let's see, format. Cells this one has on the right.
I mean, I like it with the grid.
Okay. All right. So let's. Put that back just as a standard here for inside. Then how about we do this?
Yeah, that looks good.
I missed that one, sorry. That says double top. All right, let's see what that looks like. Then it's gonna look more like it's like a summation table.
Yeah,
All right.
very good.
All right, so let's save that and
Then let me ask you one more question here while I've got you here.
yep.
Is there any way that I can add these 4 lines to the line table?
Yeah, those which one?
Without messing anything up?
Yeah. You just have to, we just have to put it on. If we go back to model. And so what you're gonna have to do, like you would annotate that one. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are the ones you want.
Yeah,
then,
Work me through that. I would go up to annotate.
yep, you go up to annotate. And you would just annotate,
Line curve table.
no, you would annotate just like you're annotating the line, but I think it was right. So now you're going to do a bearing and distance. Let me see a second. Go back down to that line curve table. And let me look at something there real quick. Let me see. Go up to go back right there. All right, hang on, line table. All right, if you choose the line table command over there. Right there, yep. Okay, select. So this is, all right, so we're going to select a line. So if you select that little line. And what line number would that be? That would be the next one down the list, which would be 16. Okay,
Yeah,
so you do go ahead and hit enter. And now you want the line, which side, above or below, it's doesn't matter. Or with the leader. So you could put it, you see it's asking where it wants to put the L16,
yeah.
either
So if
above.
I'm okay with,
Go ahead, so just hit enter if you want the default as above. And you want it to be parallel. So there you go. So now there's that one. And now select the next line. And it is 17, so you did enter for that. And above or below your call.
I can always move those, right?
Absolutely. Okay, now
That's interesting. They appeared and those didn't, or they're there, but I just can't see
there,
them
yeah.
because of
There
the,
they go. Now go ahead and, yeah, if that one you need to get to, okay, and there you go. All right, now, you can either press escape, maybe hit enter, I'm not sure, but there we go. Now, what we want to do is we're going to match some things. So let's, for right now, let's hide. So let's go up to the toolbar and get that little light, it looks like a light bulb. Keep going all the way further to the right. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going beyond that one. It looks like a gray circle with an arrow. You're almost, wait, back it up, right there. Click that. And then click on your, there you go. Click on that. Yep. And hit enter. Okay, so now we've got that sort of out of our way. We'll turn it back on in a minute. Now let's match and you see the text style is different,
yes.
all that. So let's go back to match and grab one of those that you want to, like those. Yep. There, and then each one of those. Okay. And hit enter to finish. And of course, you can, because we matched it, it changed its orientation. So,
I see. Yeah,
so, you just to do that one, just going to come in there and just give it a quick,
right.
just a quick repositioning. Previous. Just a quick reposition and a quick rotation, just however you want that to be. Now let's go look at the table. And that was what I was read. So let's.
Now we have to see, it looked pretty tight in paper space. We'll have to see how it came out.
Yeah, we can rearrange need, but let's do our did we call it ed table properties? And we were going to, let's reload the ones we had. Okay, so there's that. We can, we
Oh,
can.
it went in and changed the style, huh?
Yeah, that's what I used, that one that I saved to make that happen. Now, I also want to take this and get it off that edge a little bit, so that's where I don't have any place to set that in that table properties. And a lot of people just make them centered, but if you center, if you center up a bunch of numbers, the numbers that are like 3 or 4 digits don't line up with the decimal places. So you want
And you held the shift key for the orthogonal in that case?
That is correct.
Okay.
All right, so that part's good. I will close this and choose to save. All right, so that works there. Now we've got our hatching turned off. Here, let me see. I'm gonna also move this. All right, so we got the hatching turned off. So go back to turn that back on. If you go up to that toolbar, you see that one that looks like the round circle that's yellow now. Right there. Oh, go back. Click. There you go. And now select that text or that hatch. So the flood, yeah. And let's set its draw order to all the way to the back, just in case it got jostled. There we go. Now let's go look at it in paper space and see if we have to I think we're gonna have to rearrange a couple of things here. Yeah, the legend is okay. So this, now we're going to, let's pull these guys back down. And then this guy, we want to open up a little bit. Now, if you open it too far, you'll get the tippy top of that legend. You see there? So that's what we need to do is let's open this up a little bit bigger that way. We'll double click inside so that we can reposition. So let's move. Now we'll get this off of that top. Looks good. And now we can just move it by that central grip. So we'll get it over to the edge so that that right edge sort of lines up with this one. We'll bring these guys back up a little bit. Don't want to crowd it, but I also don't want to crowd the title either. So that's good there. Legend is not showing any of that. We've got all of that there. They've got all that there. The table is there. Remember, the reds don't show when we print. That's underneath.
Okay, I got a lot of stuff to go through and clean up, but that's pretty good.
Yeah, but I think you got a good thing to work from, and I especially like these.
Yeah, I do too. That's really
conveyance.
good.
Yeah, the conveyance arrows, I think, because it seems to me like you do a lot of consolidation work, don't you?
I do.
Just based on the nature of where you are and the type of clientele, or, you know, own big farmlands and stuff like that. So I think getting a good handle on that will help. Okay, so double check your notes, double check you know, titles and dates, and you know how to proof your work. So you'll need your PS stamp.
Yeah, I've had that turned off right now.
Oh, okay. So
It's on its own layer
yeah,
called certification.
alrighty. Alrighty, anything else?
I don't think so. Thank you very much.
You are very welcome. So we'll like I said, it takes a little tweaking, and you know, I'll donate you my time. I can appreciate the fact that you're not going to get as much out of it as you're spending learning how to do it. So I'll cut you that break on this in these couple of days, but it's to me, that's time well spent to get a process in place so that you can save the time later and you make sure that everything stays clear when you're putting these plats together. All right.
I understand.
Okay, sir.
Thank you very much.
Hey, have yourself a lovely weekend.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you, Mike. Talk to you.
Bye.